quickly, let's do this review of passé composé, okay? This here is passé composé that involves using the auxiliary avoir, it involves using the auxiliary être, and it involves using pronominal verbs. And as we know, pronominal verbs have être as their auxiliary verb. So, nous lavons le chien. Let's figure out the verb first. The verb is laver, okay? The verb is laver, and it is not a pronominal verb. A pronominal verb would be se laver, and this is not se laver, okay? Not se laver. All right, so, nous lavons le chien. What is the past participle of laver? The past participle of laver is laver. That's really helpful with that X right there, isn't it? There. Okay. So, laver. So we are going to say, nous avons lavé le chien. Why do we say avons? Well, because when we're using the verb laver, the auxiliary verb is avoir. Okay, let's look at the next one. Pierre et Paul arrivent en retard. This is our verb, arriver. And what do we know about arriver? Well, it ends in er, so arriver, the past participle is arriver. That's nice and easy. We also know that it uses être in the passé composé. So we're going to say Pierre et Paul. Now what it uses être. So we treat Pierre and Paul as if they were ils, right? Sont arrivés. Now, when the auxiliary verb is être, we have agreement in number and gender. Pierre and Paul are two dudes, so we're not going to add an e, but there's more than one person, we're going to add an s. Sont arrivés en retard. Okay, and I don't want automatic number. Thank you very much. Okay, they got dressed. Ooh, that's a tricky one. So what is the verb? The verb is s'habiller. Okay? Now, we can see right now that it's a pronominal verb because it has that. Now, the past participle is habiller, right? I guess to be consistent, I should have done this. And I don't know why my computer fan is being so noisy. It's probably being noisy too. It's listening. They got they got dressed, s'habiller. So we're going to say they. It says assume that any plurals, nous, vous, elle, and they, in these sentences refer to all girls. So we're not going to say il. We're not going to say it. We're going to say elle. Now, we know we use être because it's a pronominal verb. But what else? Elles se sont habillées. Okay? If that was a confusing one for you, you could have said something like this. Elle s'habille. Okay? And then you could have said, okay, now I need to put that in the passé composé. So I'm going to say elle. I know I'm going to have to conjugate être for elle plural, sont. And then habillé. And we know we're going to have agreement in number and gender. And that pronoun, we need to see that in the passé composé as well. That's how we end up with this. Elles se sont habillées. Okay, the verb to hurry is se dépêcher. Se dépêcher. And the past participle is dépêcher. But guess what? This has this pronoun. It's a pronominal verb. That means it takes être as the auxiliary verb. So we're going to say, I'm sorry, it's so late. I'm sorry, Mariana. Let's do it in the present tense. Il se dépêche. Right? That's the present tense. They hurry. Il se dépêche. But we're going to do it in the passé composé. So we're going to say, ils se sont dépêchés. Agreement in number and gender. It's il, plural. Oh, it says they. Oh, yes. And I told you up above that you have to assume they're female, so we're not. So we're going to do that. Elles se sont dépêchées. Okay, they got dressed. We woke up early. Let's try that one. All right, how do we say to wake up? Se réveiller. And the past participle is easy, just like these others. So it's réveiller, but it is a pronominal verb, and we know with a pronominal verb, we have to use être as the auxiliary. So we're going to say nous sommes réveillés. Now, did I tell you, if it's all girls, you would use that extra E along with the S. I think I told you, let's see. Assume that any plurals refer to all girls. So, nous sommes réveillés. Let's look at it. What's it like in the present tense? Nous, let's see that I can't spell that. Nous réveillons, right? Nous réveillons. Nous sommes réveillés. It's actually easier in the passé composé because you don't have to conjugate this. You just use the past participle and you just have to conjugate être. Nous sommes réveillés. Nous quittons la maison à 5 heures, that's wrong, du matin. Okay, sorry. So here's the verb, quitter. The verb quitter means to leave. It is not in the maison d'être. Oops. Okay. So, what are we going to do? It is not in the maison d'être. It's not a pronominal verb. That means we're going to use avoir. Nous avons quitté. Oh, how did that happen? Nous avons quitté la maison à 5 heures du matin. Nous avons quitté la maison à 5 heures du matin. Maya et John se regardent. So that's definitely il, right? It's a boy and a girl. Okay? And you can see that it's a pronominal verb. Okay? Se regarder is a past participle. It's an ER verb. Regarder. Now, we know that it is a pronominal verb, so we know it's going to take être. So we're going to say, Maya et John se sont regardés. There you go. It's one boy, one girl. We don't add an E, but we do add an S. Okay? Let's look at it if it was in the present tense. We would say Maya et John se regardent. That's the present tense. Maya et John se regardent. All right? So we're just going to use sont because that's how you would conjugate ils sont. Maya and John se sont regardés. Sorry, I can't talk. It's too late at night. Anne couche le bébé. Anne puts the baby to bed. The verb coucher. Coucher is your past participle. It is not a pronominal verb. Coucher is not in the maison d'être. So we're going to say Anne a couché le bébé. If it's not in the maison, if it doesn't take être as the auxiliary verb, then you don't have agreement in number and gender. Okay, vous avez un chien. Well, we're supposed to assume that vous is referring to men and it's plural. Did I tell you vous? Assume vous is plural. Okay, so we're going to assume vous is plural. Vous, sorry, let's do this. What verb is that? That's the verb avoir. What is the past participle avoir? It's eu, right? Vous avez eu un chien. Okay, the past participle of avoir is eu. Okay, and it's not in the maison d'être, so you're going to say vous avez eu un chien. Just like if I were saying you drank a Coke, vous avez bu un Coca. You understand? Or you saw a house, vous avez vu une maison. All right? But in this case, we're just using the past participle of avoir, which is eu. Okay? That trips people up, so be careful. Last one. Oops. elles sont actrices. Okay, so this verb here, what verb is it? It's être, right? And what is the past participle of être? The past participle of être is été, okay? Is être in the maison d'être? No, it's not. La maison d'être. Wow, it seems like it should be, but it's not. Être is not in there, okay? So what are we going to do? We're going to say elles. Now we're conjugating the verb avoir, right? Elles ont été actrices. And there you go. I hope you understand. Thank you very much.